Hello, friends. Greetings. I invite you on behalf of the Hechal Group, the 2025 Initiative Group, and the Klangschale Group to our Nations Lab, our monthly forum where we share and support each other and explore together our work with our nations, and where we seek to advance the vision and process of uniting the nations, contributing a seed towards the soul-guided United Nations of the future. As most of you know, recently we have started a new round of what we call synthetic snapshots. And so far, 3 groups have presented a snapshot in this new round, snapshot of their work with their collectives. First was the Klangschale Group working with Germany, then the US group working with the United States of America, and the last one was the Hechal Group working with the Middle East, West Asia. These were very intense and rich sessions. And today we will take a break from this snapshot work in order to touch base, so to say, literally, because we will focus on our base, on the place from which we actually do this work together, our workspace itself, which is our Council Chamber of Elders in Training. Yeah, it is a focal point on the subtle plane, and we have been working with it for almost 7 years, 6.5 years, I think. Constantly refining it. And this is a focal point dedicated to nation work, where we as delegates of our nations, best citizens of our nations, meet and work together as one. So it's actually inter-nation work. Perhaps a rudimentary reflection of what the UN is intended to do, to be. And it has become a place which we cherish, which has become precious. So today we will talk a bit about it and experience it. We can discern various aspects or components of our council chamber, and I will just, in my introduction here, I will just briefly point to them, and then my companions in the Nations Lab team will take us on a guided tour through their own experience, how they experience the council chamber, and also through a meditation, which will today be exclusively focused on the council chamber itself. In the last several weeks, I have been sitting every evening at a certain time in meditation in order to tend to my various Christ avenues. My work with these collectives, the Middle East, Germany, Ukraine, and sometimes also some others. And doing this, like all of them together, I realized how strenuous this is to enter one collective field after another. So I recognized the need to kind of streamline this work and to do it from one place. And naturally, that is the council chamber. So I began making myself more at home there, and practicing to do my daily world work from there. And doing this day after day, it makes me aware of the great potential that is in this, the potential of co-creating a space on the inner planes. And I think most of you, or many of you, know the DK's assignment to one of his disciples to build a garden on the inner planes. And after this disciple worked on the garden for many years, DK commented that this inner garden has become of usefulness for other disciples on the other side of the veil, and as meeting place between the master and his disciples. We have given the link in the Zoom chat to. I have extracted some passages from this, from the Dina 1 it is. The disciple is the CDP disciple, and it starts from page 506. And in the document that you will find in the chat box, there are these extracts, where all these instructions from DK for this project of building a garden. And we have there also the garden description itself by this disciple, and also another document about a passage about what is an ashram by DK. Yeah, so like this garden, also our council chamber seems to have different aspects or areas. We reach it, first of all, through the exquisite beauty and geometrical order of nature. And inside it, it's warm. It's a place of refuge for the heart, for world workers. And then there's also a workspace for learning and experimenting together in our pioneering work with collectives. And of course, there's also the most sensitive, most refined space where we meet with our higher colleagues, higher co-workers in the ashram, and higher forces like the energy of synthesis. I imagine our council chamber positioned, situated on the periphery of hierarchy, like an ashramic outpost. Maybe we could say our own seedling ashram, where we can, as a group, touch into the state of Buddhic consciousness. So it's quite a special place that we are co-creating here. So each day when I visit the council chamber, I'm learning something new. It's like an experimental journey that I'm doing now with it. And I'm becoming aware of many areas of discovery for us as a group. It's a bit different. Yeah, the disciple was only one person doing the visualizing, the building in subtle matter. We are a group doing this together. And we refine and substantiate and utilize this platform, this focal point. And it's becoming like an abode of the one planetary server and a workplace for the one planetary server. So now I'm giving over to Sabine who will share with us her experience of the council chamber. Over to you, Sabine.
Yeah, hello friends. Thank you, dear Uta, for opening the space. And yeah, let me share my own freshest and newest experience with the council chamber, which I really sense as a building in this world, but not of this world. And I always saw from the beginning and see always more detailed our council chamber surrounded by a wild garden, crisscrossed by paths and featuring various spaces dedicated to the different projects of our different nations. I feel us elders in training more and more as stewards and holders, not owners of this place. This is the place where we envision a unifying humanity, perhaps beyond the concept of nations, but beginning and currently working with them. So it is a place between the worlds. And I recognize that it is not only about a union between people and nations, but also about the renewed conscious cooperation and joint weaving of all realms of nature, including the Deva realm, to be imagined as a blueprint for a new age in which consciousness will vibrate at the soul level. So I imagine below us we see the world and its various focal points. And above us, we recognize in the course of the stars a symbol of the plan. I also perceive the council chamber, like Uta already mentioned, a place where we can take refuge, a space of peace, of community, and of abundance, and of constantly renewing creative energy where we can refresh ourselves as at a pristine mountain stream. So my very new idea is that the council chamber from now on doesn't just open its doors once a month, but that some of us is always here to tend the fire of the will for good, to actively energize the space, the garden, and our project. So currently, since a time, I go there once in the morning and once in the evening for just some minutes. And happily, I always meet others from our nation's lab there. This is very encouraging. Thus, this council chamber is like a relay station for me, a cosmic substation, and we are the workers within it. Our most important tool in this is the heart, attuned to receiving. So let us imagine our council chamber as our heart quarter. Here, as elders in training, we focus on the heart as our receiving and containing power, as the gateway and the distribution point for the energy of synthesis, the light and the love flowing through the Christ Avenue. And allow me, even if it might be a little too literal, too concrete in our context here, I really love the symbol of the beehive for our council chamber as a place with many so-called rooms into which nectar is brought from all directions, processed here, and where we try together to make honey from it, spoken as a gardener. And with this, I handle over the candle to Annette.
Thank you, Sabine, dear B, and hello to everyone. So for me, the council chamber is a space for encounter and relationship, both horizontal and vertical. A vibrant hub where deep and genuine encounters can take place on eye level between individuals and groups representing their nations and collectives. So, right, international relations arise when nations recognize their own weaknesses, appreciate the strengths of others, overcome a mindset of superiority, and understand their role and purpose within the whole. In this way, a future of cooperation and understanding can be shaped. So the council chamber is a space in which we can experiment with this on a representative level and work on the group consciousness of nations in the knowledge that the world is one world. Vertically, the council chamber is a sacred meeting place between heaven and earth, where celestial forces and human beings can meet and support one another with the aim of uniting nations. In the council chamber, I sense the quality of spatial love, which I also associate with Christ. Spatial love in which the note of the avatar of synthesis vibrates. So it is a space that fosters development with the aim of collaborating on planetary evolutionary plans. And from this in-between space, as in a soul space, we can simultaneously touch upon both the human and spiritual aspects. In this way, our subtle actions also take on spiritual significance, and we sow seeds for the relationships of the future. So I give over to you, Alexander.
Thank you, Annette. Indeed, the council chamber, it's a very special place for us. It is an experiment that we started more than 7 years ago, and that was especially boosted through the work that we as a group, a larger group, did together during the festival week of the new group of world service in 2019. My sense then that since then we all been part of a unfolding hierarchical experiment on building the telepathic field among the world servers. Together we been enrolled in this hierarchical course of learning the science of telepathy, but not in a mundane sense of telepathy, but telepathy as a science of etheric connectivity. We all been thrown and bound to our screens with the start of COVID, but in a way that helped us to develop our etheric sensitivity, our subjective sensitivity to the group field. All the 7 years we've been learning to work subjectively, sensing the presence of each other across space, building and weaving different threads of light into a group vessel, the vessel of the one planetary server. If you think about it that way, so that there, as Sabine said, that in a way it's like big beehive where different parts of hive, they constitute together one living organism, but each group creates its own unique space linked to their ashramic task. And so in this space we've been creating together, the council chamber, we've been working consciously for a specific purpose. Bringing the notes of our national souls as threads of light together into one space, weaving it together to create this prototype of the future United Nations. In a way, all these different group spaces and our council chamber too is an ashramic outpost. It's an ashramic space. In that link that you can find in the chat, there's a quote about the ashram, where it says that the true ashram is a focal point of receptivity. It embraces the effort to establish mutual contact through a united recognition of the vision, of the esoteric basis of life, and the laws governing action. And also in the same quote further, it says, an ashram is the state of mind of a spiritual group. It is a point of united thought. It is a center for the clarification of the vision and not so much of physical plane methods of work. So as we've been weaving our etheric connectivity, we've been also focusing our group mind. And this, what we also have been calling the creative laboratory. It's the place where we meet together, recognizing different stream of thoughts, different ideas, and trying to make together a sense of what is happening in the world at this transformative time. This is our place to together to recognize the outline of the unfolding divine plan. And at the same time invoking the higher principles, the higher spiritual principles that should be put in the foundation of the new civilization that is emerging in front of our eyes at this time. I want to share with you a story of a recognition that came to me recently when, together with a group, we've been on pilgrimage to Egypt. And we've been there at the Luxor temple, the main temple of ancient capital, of one of the ancient capitals of what we called ancient Egypt. And it was after sunset, and the temple, the ruins of the temple, they were filled with hundreds and probably thousands of people speaking different languages. It felt almost like a marketplace, and yet it was a temple. And as we were moving through the temple, we were instructed to, as we come to the sanctuary, the main sacred place of the temple, to focus on the most resonant question that is at this point at our mind. And at that point, I asked, what is our part in the one work? Us as a group, our specific group, but also our larger group, the world group with whom we are so connected more and more recently through different projects and service activities. And then I walked back through the temple to this wide place surrounded by this ancient colonnade where we gathered together with the group and we meditated and we sounded the great invocation together. And at that point, surrounded by this multi-language crowds, a seed of recognition dropped into my mind that together we are building the temple of humanity. Not these ancient temples made of bricks and stones, but temple built out of light substance, out of causal substance of humanity. We, each of us together, we as multiple groups, we recognize and embody those ideas that will condition the new world, the new civilization. We already live in that reality. And we become in that ourselves. We become in that temple. And that's the way to do it, by living the way, by living the light that we want to see in the world. So our council chamber, it's a very special place. As many other places similar to this, as ashramic outposts existing in the physical space, but also in the subjective space as our council chamber. This is a place for our daily meeting, place for our daily service. And it doesn't need to be very specifically indicated that, yes, I'm coming to the council chamber. Any rhythm of meditative alignment with the world group and with your own group is the rhythm that brings us in connectivity with the one planetary server. Every day in our morning meditation, or during the noon recollection time, or during the 5 o'clock recollection, when we call in the power one life to come and inform and fill the world group, it's the time for us to inwardly connect with our co-workers, that together we constitute the one planetary server. This year is the last year of the 7-year cycle. And we are preparing this year for the Festival Week of Group Impact in December that happens every 7 years. Master Jewel Cool tells us that the careful preparation should be done every time such opportunity comes. And especially when the festival week coincides with the full moon time, which is the case this year. The full moon of Capricorn will be during the festival week on December 24th. And the festival week itself is December 21st through December 28th. So right in the middle of the festival week, we will have full moon. And so this year, we're preparing to this opportunity thinking about all our ideas and inspirations of how we can contribute into manifestation of the divine plan and bring it to the altar of the festival week to be magnetized and stimulated into manifestation. So this is our opportunity to get the boost of energy for the next 7 year cycle. So this is the energy, this spiritual funds, spiritual money that comes to us every 7 years to stimulate and finance our spiritual service for the next 7 years. So let us prepare in our council chamber and also share with other groups, with other chambers, other sacred chambers in this huge planetary beehive for world service, one planetary server, to prepare to this opportunity as we continue our long, long journey in our service to humanity. So let us now go into meditation. So over to you, Sabina.
Let's take some deep breath. Settle in our body in the inner silence. Touching base with our heart between the shoulder blades. Making sure it is purified in harmlessness, so it may hold complex situations. Collect our mental forces in the center of the head. From here, expanding into an inclusive planetary perspective. Standing as the soul in incarnation, in the will to love. For a moment, let us visualize ourselves standing on a pinnacle, overlooking our own nation. Feel our love for it and our freedom from it. Let us get ready now to step into our function as an elder in training for our planet as a whole. Expanding our consciousness, making it planetary. In the wide expanse of our Earth, let us focus in on a special place of beautiful, wild, and healthy nature, where all living beings, all kingdoms of nature, are in perfect harmonious coexistence. Imagine walking with the devas on ground vibrant with livingness. It leads us to a beautiful building, harmoniously blending into the safe, high vibrating nature. Entering the building, entering the quiet and clear and spacious council chamber of elders in training. Finding our place in geometric order. We take a moment to look around. We become aware of the exquisite sacred beauty of our council chamber. We link with the devas who hold this dedicated place with us. So let us take some minutes to perceive this space like the devas do. The shape and the form, the color and the sound of what we already have built together here. Sense the atmosphere in the chamber, a place of refuge for world workers, a space of peace, of community, of abundance, nourished by an ever-renewing stream of harmony. A place where silence whispers and every moment is filled with divine livingness. Here we meet, we rest and replenish. Here we unite with each other and with our fellow world workers. And here we put into practice, I am one with my group, brothers and sisters, and all that I have is theirs. May the love which is in my soul pour forth to them. May the strength which is in me lift and aid them. May the thoughts which my soul creates reach and encourage them. So let us now tune our hearts to the flame in the center of the chamber, the flame of our combined, sustained will to love. Sense the quality of our love, which we have already built, our magnetic, fiery group heart. As our hearts beat in unison, a space seems to open, a calm, clear, lighted space. Here we stand as elders in training for our planet, in a point of united thought, in continuously clarifying vision for our planet. Sense the beautiful geometric shapes we have already built into this refined telepathic field, a higher order in the making. Here we recognize our soul relationship, how we all fit together, and our auras fuse and blend into the one planetary server. We sense our council chamber vibrating to the rate of the Ajna center of the planet, telepathically connecting us with the best citizens in all nations. And we affirm our shared group intent, awakening to the souls of our nations and assisting in the vision and process of uniting the nations. United as one heart, holding our telepathic field clear and our intent steady, we quite naturally find ourselves in resonance with the ashramic co-workers who guide and support us in the Nations Lab. Let us take a moment as a focal point of receptivity to them. tuning to the Christ now, and to the avatar of synthesis standing behind him. Let the energy of synthesis be received into the heart of the council chamber. Let us now, as elders in training, generate and sustain a high vibrational current of light, love, and the power of synthesis. Allow it to stream forth from the council chamber into the hearts of all receptive world servers, and further into their groups and nations, and then back again into our council chamber. Let us experience this flow as an uninterrupted current and consciously take responsibility for it now. May light and love and power restore the plan on earth. And slowly, slowly, now each in their own time, return to the everyday consciousness. And when you are ready, you have taken some notes, we begin our sharing.
Thank you, Sabine. Now, as we will share our impressions of the council chamber, giving voice to them, giving substance to them through our voice, we know that by voicing the qualities that we have experienced, we are building them into the council chamber. We substantiate the qualities So let us do this sharing as an act of co-creation in our continual building of the council chamber.
This is Margot. When I heard the words, take responsibility, what came was a sense of a sideways V, and the apex of the V was pointing to the future United Nations. The bottom part was my heart, group heart, and the upward line of the V was hierarchy. And Davis were there somewhere, but I didn't have an exact sense or image of them, perhaps encompassing. This is Deisha in Canada. What a beautiful, rich experience this morning has been, and I think so timely. It just feels like something is coming together in a new way. And I rather naively, I never thought that I could go to the council chamber on my own. I felt it was a group thing that we do as part of the Creative Lab. So I'm just kind of giddy with joyfulness that not only is it a joy and a privilege, it's a responsibility to to go to that space, to sense what's been so beautifully shared this morning, and to contribute in whatever small way I can my insight and experience on behalf of the soul of Canada, and as an elder in training. So thank you so much for this morning's experience.
Thank you, Deja. Makes me really smile. Your sharing, yes. Let's meet there often.
I too was so struck by the beauty that just was created in my and our imaginations and in all of the words that each of you brought. I, being a gardener and a beekeeper especially, resonated with that idea of the beehive because it is such an extraordinary community of divine feminine energy that works in extraordinarily cooperative ways. And the output of honey is sort of secondary, actually, to the work that they do in that hive. But it's a beautiful thing to think of that golden substance that is so filled with sweetness as the byproduct of all of their hard work. But more I got also was there is a wonderful painting that all of you will resonate with, I think, by an artist named Edward Hicks, and it's called The Peaceable Kingdom. And when all of this imagining became part of this meditation, that's what I saw, because it isn't only being responsible to nations and humanity, but to every and all of God's creations. Every kingdom is a part of our garden, and the responsibility that we have to each of those kingdoms. But that painting, the peaceable kingdom, just sort of said it all. I started thinking it might be the Garden of Eden, and then suddenly it was much more crowded than the Garden of Eden, in that it was that peaceable kingdom. So thank you so much.
This is Jonathan from Portugal, and as Andrea voiced, such appreciation and more than admiration, gratitude for the work that you have put in to steer this council work to this point, this moment over the years. It is tangible and felt. Where I am is in a valley just like we have imagined, full and brimful of flowers and nature where people are living. The sense is that an integration is taking place that is very significant as we move and achieve an integration together as a one heart-minded server group representing all our different nations. The same integration is certainly taking place within humanity, so that groups of people who are receptive to embodying soul-inspired leadership in the self-same way will step forward and step up to the responsibility of the times. Because we are a telepathic server and because we are, in a sense, humanity. So this is just such a special moment on the threshold of Wesak. Thank you.
I would like to follow Jonathan, especially in his word of integration, where I believe I've been able to hold the one planetary server in its vastness of light. There was a different energy in the council chamber. And it was that we all were unified in the one work, which is different than in being the one planetary server in terms of light. And so that work kind of fed each of us, that we were all moving in the same direction of heart in many different ways, but it was an integrative work so that we were feeding each other. There was a real sense of connecting, especially with Master Moria, Master Dwalkul, and Master Rakotsi. I felt their energy actually flowing through us in the chamber, supporting the work that we do. So all of our work individually. So it's not just that we're together as a light body, but that we are integrated in terms of our soul purpose, if you will. And it was, I feel shaken from it because it, unlike light, it was like black velvet smoothness. I don't even know how to explain that, but a real integrative energy. Thank you.
Yeah, when we are like this together, really unified, one-pointed, like Jonathan said, heart-minded, then we can see so much more of this, as you say, Judy, that we are all unified in the one work. We can see how we are connected, how we are fitting in with each other in the one work. I can sometimes sense the reverberation of the different the vision statements that those groups who have already given a snapshot have offered into the council chamber. It seems to continue reverberating in the council chamber. Perhaps it is good to be aware of that the vision that we hold for our nation and we share it in the nations, in the council chamber, that all our groups are holding these high points of vision for these different nations. Leonie, you just can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Greetings, everyone. So wonderful to be with you. Thank you, Uta, and everyone who is creating this sacred space. I just love that as I put my hand up to speak, you spoke of the reverberation, Uta, and what I've been feeling very strongly because as Andrea and Jonathan spoke of being beekeepers, bee guardians, bee priests and priestesses, I was very aware of this bee energy, and the reverberation speaks to the hive air. And as we went into meditation, I closed my eyes and just felt this beautiful, lush vegetation, very much like an Amazonian jungle, and I was immersed in that. And then in a clearing, I saw a building that had the shape of a beehive hut. And this was really lovely because it felt like a meeting of my own nation, of South Africa, where these beehive huts are quite traditional. And I will possibly share images in email after our gathering. However, our vegetation is not as lush. So there was this bringing together of the two, which I really felt in my heart. And it was so much a oneness of where we all are. And if I may just take a few moments to share of the types of bees who are in a beehive, because this is how it feels to me, our council chamber as a bee family. We have the Queen Mother, we have the drones, maidens, the little ones in the brood that are being birthed into new life. We have the guardians who take care and make sure that the space is protected, the foragers who go out and collect the beautiful nectar and bring that back so that the maidens can do their work and produce the honey. We have those who go out and scout looking for new places to be. And in our togetherness and working as a one, we produce the most beautiful gifts of honey, propolis, pollen. And this is truly how it feels for me in our council chamber as we work together. So another wonderful coincidence, I've just created an update to a story that Jonathan and I have been sharing. And I put some images together in that update, and I used the beehive as a frame for these images. So there's no thing is random. It's really beautiful. I'm very appreciative of our connectedness here as we prepare to serve in ever higher degrees, planetary, universal, and multidimensional levels. Thank you to everyone. Much appreciated.
Beautiful, Leonie. Can really feel how this beehive vividness, livingness is being built more solidly into our council chamber. Graciana has shared in the chat. We are collaborating in the creation of the new temple of humanity, building, wearing, and transforming the etheric field. Thank you, Graciana.
Yeah, I try to add some thoughts. For me, it was a very special meeting today with all of you in our sacred space. And I wanted to thank Jonathan that he mentioned the the field of Vesak, which is opening up slowly, slowly. And combined with the Vesak, this discovery that the doors, the gate of the council chamber and the magic garden is wide open, that we together made today, for me is not a coincidence. So it's somehow like a message. And when I'm listening to all the sharings, we have beautiful metaphora like the beehive and others. And when Sasha, in his introduction, mentioned the building the temple of humanity, of subtle causal substance, I had a picture that we all together, like we were sharing also today, are somehow becoming some storytellers of the future, creating with our highest, best imaginations and inspirations this higher order in becoming. And watching and recognizing how much weight we gave, how much significance we gave in our last, I think, I guess 2 meetings to the heart, I really asked myself if maybe there is something like the mind of the heart, which now starts to create. And meeting you all at the fire, everyone in their own responsibility, sharing this. This is very, very beautiful. I got so many gifts today from you. Yeah, let us make honey.
Yeah, are there any other impressions to share before we close?
I can share briefly. This is Deborah from the US. This was such a splendid gathering and meditation, and it was multi-layered for me. When I visualize the council chamber, it's a crystalline, sort of all glass structure in the middle of an alpine forest, but it shares one wall with a mountain, and that wall has a tunnel to where there's a shaft that goes up through the very peak top of the mountain, which is kind of where the channel is, I guess, for the ashram. And it's the 3 masters and their magnetic atom that they created and fusing together have drawn most, I've heard, of the ashrams into the one synthetic ashram synthesis that hovers over, in my visualization, hovers over, contains not just the council chamber and the surrounding forest and gardens and mountain, but the world. You know, it's a great light bubble
that holds the entire planet and its radiation into space. And it's so the quality of the energy is like Judy said, velvety. It's a blue-white resonating light energy that is both electric and velvet and so profoundly felt both intuitively but also etherically. So when I tune into the world group, it's from that place where we are held with so much love as a mother would hold, but also with the will to good in this velvety electric fire. I can't really describe it, but from that, all these beautiful forms emanate and are created and penetrate and move and dance. But it's all held now, held, not fractured, held within the whole sphere of Earth's magnetic field, and the ashram extends beyond that field, if that makes sense.
Hello, Jill here from the UK. I just felt that I'd like to say that when I go to the chamber, I feel I'm in a place of safety, in a loving environment of peace and brotherhood and sisterhood. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Jill. Thank you, everyone. Very rich and, yeah, with a full heart. We are here together. So just would like to announce our next session, Nations Lab session on June the 2nd with the British group. And until then, we will meet in the council chamber. Let's see whom we can see each time, sense each time when we visit. And yeah, let us wrap up our session with one more little visit in the council chamber, closing our eyes again and sensing ourselves as elders in training, sitting together in geometric order in our quiet and clear space around the fire, the bright flame of our will to love, our will to unite. And feeling this flame in our hearts. And sharing the clear light in our minds. Experiencing our union as souls, together united with our brothers and sisters, the world workers in all nations. See and sense the energy released by the avatar of synthesis, sweeping as a strong, refreshing wind through our council chamber and through the network of world workers out upon humanity, into the world. You see the band of world workers stable and calm wherever we are as we approach the Vesak, standing with our elders in the ashram. Ready to receive the blessing of the Buddha. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.